Hey guys, it is Jeannette, aka Sweet Jean, and I'm going to be doing an Get Unready with Me video, and I'm also going to be doing like a recap of the last 10 days. So I'm just going to be using these makeup wipes from Neutrogena with some micellar water to start taking off this makeup. I was supposed to have chemo on the 23rd, which would have been my second week, because I get chemo every 2 weeks and then I'm off a week, 2 weeks and then I'm off a week. So I went in and I didn't realize that I didn't have an appointment with my doctor. I had an appointment for my labs to be drawn and then to go straight to the what is it called, chemo room. And so I was sitting there. They didn't access my port. They said they were waiting on the results of my labs, of course, and if everything checked out fine, then they would access my port. Well, look at all that makeup. Well, I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and it took a little bit longer than expected. And so then they came back and said that they were not going to be doing the chemo because one of my labs that have always been normal or trending on the more normal side for me was like off the charts, and that was my glucose. And so they said that they weren't going to do the chemo. My red blood cells and my white blood cells were a little bit low. I have the numbers here. My red blood cells on the 23rd were 2.41. My white blood cells this week were 2.98, so I was up 0.57, and my white blood cells last week were 3.67, and I was at a 3.51, so I actually came down a little bit. But I do have a small abscess that's like near my belly button that's draining, and so we're thinking that that's what why the white blood cells is down just a little bit. It's actually down just 0.16. I keep looking over here because I have some notes. Anyways, well, my glucose, the average range for glucose is 74 to 109, and on the 23rd my glucose was reading at 425. So my labs were flagged. They were walked over to the doctor. The doctor was interrupted because people were like, you need to see this. I mean, they are off the charts. So when I was walking out, after she told me that they weren't going to do it, that I could leave, and they were going to make an appointment for me for the following week, which is this week, the nurse caught me and she said the doctor wants to see you. So I said okay. So I went and checked in with that clinic, and she was like, I can't believe, like, I don't know what happened, because I usually range 130 and I've always been at 130. And she said, I don't know what you've been doing. And I'm like, I mean, nothing different. And then I thought about it and I said, well, I have had a couple of birthdays. I have had some cake. And then she said, what did you have for breakfast? I said, a large glass of orange juice, a biscuit, and jelly. And she was like, carbs and sugars turn into glucose. And if you keep that up, you're going to become diabetic. She's like, have you been hungry a lot? And I said, yes. She's like, have you been so thirsty that you can't quench your thirst? And I said, yes. I think I even mentioned that on my last video. And then she says, do you want to get diabetes? I'm sorry, I keep looking at the viewfinder. I mean, the video and not the viewfinder. So I'm sorry if I'm like going back and forth. She's like, you know, you can have your limbs amputated. You can go blind. And it's, I guess, type 2. And so she's like, you need to cut your carbs. You need to cut your sugars. It's very important if you care about your health. Being diabetic on top of having stage 4 cancer, it's just a recipe for disaster. She didn't say that, but that's the idea I got. Okay, so I'm done with the micellar water. I'm gonna put that away. And the wipies, or these, put that away. I'm going to wet my face, and I'm gonna do this. It's rock. I get this at CVS, but they're like little gentle exfoliating pads. And since I have a lot of texture and I've been getting a lot of breakouts, I just like to gently exfoliate. So excuse me while I do that. And so, of course, that upset me. I was crying on the way home. You know, I don't want to be diabetic. And then when I got home, I was looking up all these foods that I can't have. And it's basically like anything good. Everything has, my favorite food is pasta. Can't have that anymore. I like to have baked potatoes, fully loaded. Can't have that anymore. I like to eat rice, Mexican rice, white rice, sushi. Can't have that anymore. Can't have any type of anything from the bakery, any desserts, any breads, any cakes, cupcakes. I'm like, okay, so let me see, what can I substitute? And I'm looking online, and it's like, you can't have oranges, you can't have apples, you can't have watermelon. They're all high in sugar. The fruits that are low in sugar are berries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, star fruit, and honeydew melon, not watermelon. And so that's what I would need to have if I want something sweet. I can have meats, chicken, beef, pork, you know, protein. I can have some dairy. Of course, milk would have to be like coconut milk. I bought coconut milk. It tastes like watered down Elmer's glue. Don't ask me how I know that. But I bought it because I bought strawberries and I bought raspberries, and I made shakes with strawberries, raspberries, not shakes, smoothies. So that's what I ate for a sweet snack, because I like to snack on sweets. And I couldn't have any tortillas. I was eating, my family was having sandwiches. So basically just took the leaf of the lettuce and made like a lettuce wrap with ham and the cheese and a little bit of mustard. Because mustard has, what does it have? It has one or the other, but basically I was upset because I couldn't have what I normally have. And then of course the only thing that I could drink would be unsweetened tea, green tea, black tea, and black coffee. And water. I don't know if I mentioned that. So anyways, I went for chemo today, and like I read everything, my glucose today, last week was 425, and today it came up to 135. So I brought it down. I stayed strict on my diet. I did not want to waver. I wanted to follow all the rules. I wanted to cut down on carbs, and I did. I wanted to cut down on sugar, and I did. When I went to H-E-B, I read all the labels. H-E-B is a grocery store here in Texas. I read all the labels, and if it had, oh, and I also got pork skins because they didn't have no sodium, no carbs, and no sugars. So for a little salty, savory snack, that's what I would have. Oh, and I can have nuts. So I bought a can of mixed nuts. Mostly almonds are good. Walnuts and pecans. But of course, the one I had cashews in it. So I did have a couple of cashews, but cashews aren't bad. They're just on the higher end of I don't know what it is. Not sugars, I guess carbs. So yeah, so I brought my numbers down. So last week was at 425 and this week was at 135. So I'm very happy with myself. She said that I'm no longer like pre-diabetic at this point, but of course they're going to check me every week or every 2 weeks. Let me get a clean towel. So anywho's, I still have stuff there for my eyeliner. So anyways, I'm gonna put some, we have a heater on, this Bye Bye Redness from It Cosmetics. I'm gonna put that on my cheeks. And I got my chemo today, yay! Because I don't want to go too long without it because it's what's keeping the cancer from spreading. And I have stage 4 and it's already spread to different organs and I don't need it to spread. And I don't need it to grow any more than what it already has. I need to keep it where it's at. I like to keep it stable. And being off the chemo, yes, I start feeling better. Then I start to feel worried because I'm going to be using this Lancome. It's a moisturizer and dark spot. It helps with dark spots, supposedly. I don't know. It's hard to tell. So, this past week was very emotional. On top of having cancer, I was worried about being diabetic. All the foods that I love to eat, I couldn't have. But I said my health is more important, so that's what I got to take care of. And yep. Put that on top. Okay. And let me see. So she's gonna do 1 week chemo, 1 week off, 1 week chemo, 1 week off. So my rotation has changed. We're going to try that for a little bit because my red blood cells are still trending on the low end, which has been now the average for me, which it shouldn't be. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't gone back to work, is because I haven't found a rotation or a cycle that works. Sorry, I'm just washing my hands. And I get tired faster than I did last year before I got sick in the hospital in June and July. And I can't dedicate my time and my attention to work right now, and my neck and my back start hurting me after an hour and a half to 2 hours if I don't get a break or neck support. And the chairs that I have at work, they don't they stop mid-back and they don't have neck support or upper back support. And so by the end of 5 hours, I'm like, my back feels like, I've mentioned this before, like I'm holding a backpack full of bricks. And I don't want to show that I'm hurting at work. I don't want to show, I don't know. I don't want to be to the point where I'm going to get fired because I'm not doing my job at 100%. I know that sounds crazy because my job has been so good to me, and they understand, and they've bent over backwards for me. I mean, but I don't know how long that'll last, and I can't dedicate my time 100% to my job right now, and it sucks because I want to go back to work. I want to be productive. I want to feel like I'm helping in some way, and I want to be social with, other adults. But I just can't give my 100% at the moment, and I'm hoping that at one point I will be able to go back. Should that day come, I'll be happy. And if it gets to a point where I'm not enhancing in my health and I'm not improving in my health, then I may have to put in my 2 weeks and not work for a little bit, which is unfortunate because I really, really love what I do. I love where I work. I love the employees. I love the managers, supervisors, HR, and all the doctors are all so sweet, and I just miss it, So anyhow, I got my injection today. They accessed my port, and I'm gonna take that off actually because it's already half off. So check that off. So I'll just be waiting for the symptoms to kick in, ride it out like I always do, allow myself to heal, allow myself to recover, knowing that I'm not being lazy and that my body is just going through the gigs, of having chemo running through my veins, running through my blood, running through my bones, running through my muscles, and accept the fact that I may get a little bit of foggy brain here and there, but that comes with the territory. And so I've got to settle up and just whatever comes my way, I'll figure it out. And then after a couple of days, the dust will settle and I'll come right out. And in 2 weeks I'll do it all over again. And in 2 weeks I'll do it all over again, since my cycle has changed I'm getting the chemo injection every other week so far. I don't know how long that's gonna last before she puts me back. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for getting unready with me. And thank you for all the kind comments and the support that I get. For all of you who have been here from the beginning, I appreciate it. I love all of you, and I recognize all of you, all your names and all your little profile pictures. And for the people that are new to the channel or that are not yet subscribed, if you like me, if you like my personality, if you want to follow my life living with terminal stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, then hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you are made aware of new uploads. I don't often upload. I don't have a schedule. It just depends on how I feel. Sometimes it's once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, once a month. It just depends. I try my hardest to keep you guys updated, because I know, you want to know what's going on, and when you don't see me for a long time, I know people start getting worried. But I do have a backup plan should something happen to me. My son knows to upload a video that I have set on private, that's basically saying goodbye. But I hope to God that he doesn't have to make that private video public for many years. But it's there. I like to be prepared and I don't want to leave anybody hanging. I'm also on Instagram at Gino99. I post pictures randomly. So anyhow, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.